Hello everyone and welcome to your full moon reading. So this Thursday, August 11th at 9:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a super full Sturgeon moon in Aquarius. And this is our fourth supermoon in a row. Now a supermoon is when the moon is at its closest point to the Earth plane. And its effects of the full moon are more intense, influential, and potent. It amplifies the effects of this full moon. Now this moon is historically called the Sturgeon moon because it is when the giant sturgeon fish of the Great Lakes are abundant and readily caught, bringing prosperity and abundance into our lives. And for a deeper insight on what the meaning and significance is of this Sturgeon moon and what it means for us, watch my next video on the significance of the Sturgeon moon. So, before I dive into the astrological influences flavoring this full moon, I want to review a powerful cosmic dynamic that we learned about in the Leo new moon that is still influencing the skies of our consciousness, especially for this full moon. It's the triple conjunction of Uranus, Mars, and the North Node. This energy dynamic is ushering in new cosmic insights for our future collective destiny, and it's giving us the powerful masculine warrior energy needed to break free from the ties of complacent conformity, bad habits, ruts, old comfort zones, and it is charging us with powerful resources necessary to transform into a truer, more divinely connected, and free-thinking individual that fully accepts and stands tall in their inner authority and sovereignty. No longer a victim of circumstance, but rather a conscious creator who has discovered their inner strength and magical abilities to create their own happiness and live the life in accordance with their divine purpose and soul agreements. This spans beyond work, eat, sleep, repeat patterns. This goes deeper than just our physical reality and stretches into the multi-dimensions of our being, our spiritual being, our divine purpose. So if you remember, Uranus is cosmic knowledge. It's freedom. It's huge quantum leaps of change. And this energy is conjunct with the North Node, which is our future collective destiny. It's our future self. It's our future humanity, the future of humanity. And Mars, which is this masculine warrior energy. This is the first time we have experienced this celestial configuration in over 2,000 years. This cosmic dynamic is a teacher and a guide for us. It is accelerating and increasing our consciousness at a massive scale and at a massive pace, raising the frequency and vibration throughout the entire Earth plane. If we just take a moment to step back and observe the past 2 years, we can easily identify a wave of tremendous changes that we have already experienced. We are no longer living in the same world that we were living in before 2020. Likewise, we are no longer the same person that we were prior to 2020. This wave that is rapidly increasing our awareness and frequency, is also collapsing and destroying the old structures, systems, and controlling forces of our reality that are no longer serving us in our journey into the higher frequency states of existing. It's simple physics. As we transform ourselves, heal ourselves, and raise our consciousness, the lower frequency structures will simply fall away by design. And as they crumble, it will make a lot of noise and create some destructive havoc. But this is guiding us to living in a new paradigm of existence. Rather than living from the outside in, examples of this are watching the news and letting it affect our mood and our state of being, our state of happiness, letting it rule our life, our reality. Rather than wearing and bearing the weight of the world on our shoulders and feeling helpless and victimized by our circumstances. Victimized by our genetics, by our health, victimized by our race, by our identification of how we identify ourselves. We are being guided to living from the inside out. Living in our power and remembering our divine strength and power to create our own reality, our own happiness, and the power to overcome adversity instead of falling victim to it. No longer are we carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, because it's not our burden to carry. If we focused on our own well-being, we would instantly be living in a different world. If we just simply took care of ourselves, and everyone took care of themselves, the world would instantly be different. So we're going through this transformational process where we are externally focused. We're looking at everyone else. We're projecting onto everyone else. We're letting the world around us dictate our happiness and how we exist and live and navigate in this world. But there's a huge transformation that's occurring. We're realizing that we don't need to live with our focus on the external world. If we just redirect our focus onto ourselves, our own happiness, our own state of well-being, our own emotional well-being, then we can stand tall and arrive and emerge differently in this world. Because we're no longer allowing the external world to shape us. We shape ourselves, thus creating the external world around us. Realizing and remembering that the power lies within ourselves. So as we awaken to this transformational process from living from the outside in our divine power from the inside out, we will no longer be victim of this wave of change sweeping across our world, but rather we are now riding this wave, fully in command of ourselves and our personal well-being. And this is one of the greatest lessons as we shift our consciousness on this planet, which this powerful triple conjunction of Uranus, Mars, and the North Node is guiding us through. So this super moon is a powerful pivot point for us and is building up momentum and energy for some major structural changes in our reality over the next coming months. This cosmic wave of change is nothing short of exciting, especially once we make the conscious decision to stand in our power and ride the wave, rather than live in fear of the changes that are happening, subject to being victim of the wave. So this supermoon is conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. The moon rules over our inner self, our emotions, our emotional well-being, our emotional body, our true, deeper sense of self. And this is conjunct with Saturn, which represents systems of control, boundaries, rules, laws, structures, habits, government, and in a way, comfort zones. And this all makes sense, as Saturn is always depicted with the rings around it. And this very depiction of structures of control, boundaries, and comfort zones, that's why it has the rings around it. It's contained. It's also the sixth planet, and in numerology, 6 is the threshold number before we break free from the physical earthly ties and enter into the magical spirit realms. And this is also the universal theme for this year, as 2022 reduces to 6. This is the breakthrough year of freeing ourselves from the matrix of control and accepting our birthright, our divine powers, strength, and sovereignty as we enter deeper into the spirit realms, recognizing our spirituality, our spiritual powers, our spiritual transformation. And these two energies, the moon representing our inner emotional self, and Saturn, the systems of control, are conjunct in Aquarius, which is all about freedom, enlightenment, and is multi-dimensional, expanding our awareness from this tunnel vision of our scope of our physical existence, eating, working, sleeping, repeating. And it's opening us up into this expansive, multi-dimensional perspective of unlimited possibilities, magic, spirituality, and divine purpose that stretches beyond going to work every week, every day, making a paycheck, buying food, sleeping, and repeating. It's giving us a greater purpose. It's allowing us to discover our true divine purpose and why we are here on this planet. This cosmic dynamic is bringing us powerful self-revelations and realizations where we are discovering new versions of ourselves waiting to emerge within us. This is also guiding us towards discovering our divine inner authority. Not the external authorities like government officials, presidents, kings, queens, celebrities, influential, wealthy elites, social media influencers, but rather the divine inner authority that arises within our own being. We are discovering a new way of existing on this planet in which we are no longer following the old structures of control into their own self-destruction. But rather, we are rising up in control of ourselves, in control of our emotional well-being, in control of our lives, our destiny, and divinely sovereign and with the capacity to walk this earth with our divine powers without falling victim or needing structures of control like the media to tell us how to live, or the government to tell us how to live. This is truly a self-discovery journey of our divine inner authority. And it is asking us these questions. How are we taking responsibility for our own life and the world that we are creating? Where are we going? What future are you creating for yourself? And what changes are you making to get there? And now that we understand this astrological influence, let's take a deeper look into the supermoon and Saturn conjunction. This dynamic is opposing the sun, which is our outer expression, and how we navigate the world around us, which is in Leo. And we learn from the new moon in Leo what Leo energy is all about. And this is teaching us how to be in our own light and in our own power and our own divine magnificence. This is guiding us to truly developing our courage, our willpower, and growing sense of self as we expand our sense of self from just this physical form and physical existence into our greater cosmic divine self, our divine purpose. This is also providing us with the strength and power to work through the emotional heaviness and pressure. Because in order to break free from the old self and old systems, we need to work through and clear ourselves from the weight that is holding us back. Freeing ourselves from the weight of the past, such as healing our past traumas, healing our ancestral traumas that have been handed down to us, forgiveness, compassion, grace, and gratitude. These will all deliver transformational revelations within ourselves. So it is time to forgive, heal, and find gratitude in every moment. We were created to ride this wave, not to get lost in it. That is why we are here. That is why we were born. That is why we are alive. And that is why our parents brought us into this world. Because they knew on a super conscious level that you have what it takes to create this new earth. And you have a very special, unique, divine purpose for being alive at this moment in time. And everything you have experienced in your life thus far, the good, the bad, the painful, and the ugly, has prepared you for this very time of transformation of human consciousness. Everything you have experienced in your life has given you the indestructible strength, the cosmic and timeless wisdom, the heart-filled compassion and grace and humility, and most of all, It has guided you to discovering your true sense of divine power. This is the deep transformational process of discovering our true power. And once we've discovered this within ourselves, external forces are no longer needed to govern our lives. From this divine place of existing, we can begin to create the new earth we have been waiting for. And it all happens from the inside out. So, what an amazing transformational full moon we have upon us this Thursday. And what an amazing transformational process that we have before us in the months ahead. So I hope you guys enjoyed this full moon reading and the astrological influences that are flavoring this super moon, the Sturgeon moon. And for the full moon oracle reading, it is a time for healing. It's very clear. It's a time for healing, which makes sense after this full moon reading. I always do the full moon reading. I take a look at the astrological chart. I take a look at what influences are influencing us. I journey with the moon to see and feel what's ahead. And I allow my spirit guides to paint this picture for me. And then I get into the state of connecting and almost channeling this energy from the moon. And I write it all out and I share it with you guys. And then I do a full moon oracle reading after writing all of this out and sharing it with you guys. And so it makes sense. It's a time for healing. It's a time that we need to heal, to lay, to rest, and to clear all of the weight, the emotional baggage, and the stuck, dense energies from our entire being before we can step into our light and fully receive our divine powers and strength. We all know that we all know what we need to heal. We can feel it. It's weighing us down. We can feel it in our being. It's preventing us from moving forward. It's holding us back. And if you would like some support, guidance, or help through this process of healing and transformation, I'd be happy to work with you through this journey of the soul. So I hope you guys have a beautiful healing and transformational experience for this full moon. For this full moon rituals, the clearing and emerging ritual with the fire is coming up. You know, we're working with Aquarius energy and Leo energy, which is air and fire. And so that clearing and emerging is a great ritual. So I'm going to put that in as well. If you haven't watched that video, you can watch that video of that ritual. For those of you that have been in the Lunar Club for a couple years now, you're probably familiar with this ritual. And I always like to think of it as clearing out your closet, right? In order for you to have room for the new clothes to go into your closet, you gotta take the old clothes out. And that's what this fire ritual is all about. It's all about taking out the old clothes, the old self, the old being, the old layers, the old habits, the old rituals, clearing that out from our being so that the new can arrive. The new, stronger, powerful, more deeply connected to spirit. So stay tuned for that video and for the significance of the Sturgeon moon. And I hope you guys have a beautiful super Sturgeon moon. Bye, guys.